Hello there, everybody, boys and girls, viewers of all ages. Good day to you and welcome back to the channel. I'm glad you guys are here. We are returning. This is going to be the second video of this 1996. It's a Mazda slash Ford Ranger. It's the B2300 series pick 'em up truck. Very, very minimalized type of vehicle. This thing came in after having been parked for a few years, and the thing was barely running. We still have no spark. See that? It first showed up running on about 2 cylinders, okay? So we almost nearly never got it in the shop without having to push it. Anyway, we did a little bit of preliminary diagnostic work on the thing. We had found in the previous episode that there was no spark out of this primary ignition coil, and only 3 posts on the secondary coil were producing spark. Because of that, we were only running on 2 cylinders. Now that combined with 4 or 5 year old gasoline in the tank, this thing had it had a massive drivability problem. Like I said, it barely would start, barely would run. So we put 4 gallons of gas in it, changed out the coils. The customer had supplied a pile of parts on the front seat over here, and these MSD ignition coils were part of that parts list. So since we very easily and immediately saw that there was no spark, we threw the coils in because they were easy to change. And then the real diag work began. What we had determined is after the coil replacement, the secondary coil was firing completely, but the primary coil was still dead. So we broke out the voltmeter and ended up making a determination that the ECM, the engine control module, was faulty. So I ordered one because they were available, and we threw the thing in there, and next thing you know, we had spark on all 8 posts on both of the coils. Now, this is a 4-cylinder engine with a wasted spark style ignition. So there's a set of spark plugs on this side and another set of spark plugs on that side, and they both converge inside of the combustion chambers inside of the engine. Now, earlier yesterday, we were trying to get this thing to run a little bit better. I ended up detecting that there was a misfire. So we pulled the spark plugs out, did a compression check, and found compression on number 4 back there was at about 80 PSI. The one up front, that was about 90. Cylinder number 2 was, I think, around 90, maybe 100 PSI, and we did not check number 3 because those spark plugs were hard to get to. But from what we had determined, it appeared that cylinder 1 was the one that was a dead hole misfiring, and I'll show you how we narrowed that down in just a moment. What we're going to do, I'm going to start this engine back up, and we're going to observe the misfire. You guys hear that? Doesn't sound too great, with the exception of that exhaust leak. Don't worry about that. Fuel. Yeah, see that? Yeah, it's got a dead hole in it somewhere, and we believe it to be number 1, and I'll show you why I think so. What we're going to do, check, let me turn this AC off. It's adding odd load to the vehicle and bogging the engine down. Bear with me here, guys. AC off. So yes, we do have an exhaust leak, but we still have a nasty misfire. See that? Not running well, shaking at idle, okay? So what I want to do is determine, and I'll do this on camera for you guys, we're going to show that cylinder 1 is the dead cylinder. And I'm going to do that by disconnecting the ignition wires one more time. So just to show you, we got spark in there. See that? Tick it, tick it, tick. Now that's 1 wire for 1 spark plug on that cylinder. We're gonna use, where's that other wire? This one right, I think it's this one here. Stay alive. Wake up. Uh-oh. Yeah, that's number 1 on the front cylinder. For real. It needs to warm up, I think. Restarting the engine. All right, so we're running again. It's alive. Kind of no change, right? If we plug in the plug on number 1, we still have no change. You hear that? There's no audible engine tone with these spark plugs connected. That tells me cylinder number 1 is the dead cylinder. Now, we had slightly low compression, and I know there's fuel going in there because we pulled the spark plug out, went inside with a borescope, and I saw wetness on top of, that didn't sound good. I saw some wetness on top of the piston. So there is fuel going in, and we can smell the fuel that is unburnt coming out. So what we're thinking, since compression's a little low and the borescope didn't show anything that was looking particularly horrible on the cylinder walls, I'm thinking that either the piston rings in this thing are clogged up. There could be a clog in the brain breakage, fuel injector. There we go. It could be a clog in the fuel injector, or it could be a couple other issues, maybe even like a sticking valve. Now, looking at this thing objectively and holistically, I'm going to factor in the amount of time this thing sat around as what could be weighed against it. So where I'm at is, I think what we're gonna do is try to clean this up with some product. And this is the part where you guys are like, it's all fake and snake oil and mechanic in a can. And I beg to differ. And today I'm going to attempt to prove that. We're gonna try to wake this engine back up by adding some chemical to the fuel tank. There's gonna be 2 things we're gonna put in there. And then I'm also gonna add some to the engine oil. And we're gonna run the daylights out of this thing around the parking lot to see if we can't get that chemical to break up maybe some sludge or some varnish that could be hanging one of the valves, or could be compressing and sticking in the piston rings themselves, causing some excessive blow-by. Now I realize this is a flawed test because I didn't do the compression test like on camera, but you guys see the way it works, so I'm hoping that what you've witnessed so far is going to be sufficient to provide decent evidence to whether or not my methodology here is going to be applicable or not. So what I want to do is we're going to put some product in the fuel tank, and I want to do that again because I know there's bad gas in there. So when we got this truck, it had almost no gas in it, but what was in there was horrible, so I can only assume that the interior of this fuel tank is also horrible. We put 4 gallons of fuel in there, and it ran, but it's still not running very well, and I hear some pinging and some spark knocking, and of course we've got a dead cylinder. So I'm not saying that mechanic in the can is going to fix everything, but I believe in this particular case we will see an improvement. So I've got a couple products here that's going to go into the fuel system, one of which is an Amsoil top cylinder lubricant, upper cylinder lubricant, see that right there? That is designed to go in and clean up the ring lands and remove some varnishes in there, as well as lubricate and protect those piston ring surfaces. According to the bottle, it preserves horsepower and performance. It lubricates fuel system and upper cylinders, so this is going to go through the injectors as well. It fights the related corrosion effects of ethanol, and that would be the huge problem here, is there's water inside of this tank. So that's our first product that we're going to install into the fuel system. Second one is going to be the performance improver. It's also a deep cleaning type of solution, and according to the label, it is a potent gasoline performance improver, concentrated detergent, aggressively cleans stubborn power robbing deposits from injectors, valves, and the combustion chamber. This is what we're looking for here. Reduces emissions, don't really care right now about that. It cleans the entire fuel system in 1 tank of gasoline, treats up to 30 gallons. So we're gonna dump this in with only 4 gallons to see what happens. So this is going in the fuel tank, and that one's going in the fuel tank. So let's start with that. That's not right. That's broken. The locking gas cap is broken. We're gonna need probably a new cap too. So the plan here, we're gonna do the fuel system additives in the tank, and I know this thing needs an oil change because the engine oil is low, it's nasty looking, and it also smells like gasoline. So I'm assuming we've got nasty gas in the engine oil as well. So again, what we're gonna do is I'm going to do an oil change on it. Since we may have to do a couple oil changes to clean this up, I'm not going to use a full send. I'm going to use some Amsoil synthetic blend. They just came out with this stuff recently, and I purchased some just for scenarios like this where I know this oil is not going to hang it in there for 6,000-7,000 miles, but we want to use a premium product. So it's not the full protection you get out of a out of a fully synthesized engine oil, but the synthetic blend will suit our purposes for this particular application. So what we're looking for here is this can. This is the EPR, Engine Performance Restoration. Now this is a light solvent-based cleaner designed to flow through the rotating assembly of the engine, come in contact with all the oiled surfaces, and it's going to break up sludge and varnish, which again is what I'm suspecting is present on the piston rings inside of this engine. So let's get this thing popped open, and we're going to install all of the cleaning products. We're going to run the daylights out of this little engine for a while, and we're going to see if we get any performance increases, or if this engine's going to smooth out and actually run like it's designed to. So first things first here, we're going to attempt the old school pouring things by transferring liquids from one vessel to another with no funnel. Begin pouring now. Oh yeah, dump that right on in there. I made the mistake once of trying to dump this in a running engine, and it goes all over the top of it. Pretty nasty. So that's the oil cleaner. Now we're not going to drive it around with that because we don't want to put a bunch of load on the engine, but we can let this sit in there and run for a while to circulate through the system. Oh yeah, look at that. Look, there's rust all over the place, even in that filler neck. So I know this system's full of nasty. Let's fire this thing back up. Let's grab these two guys real quick, dump them in the tank, and then we're gonna run this thing up to a high idle and then see what it does after the oil change. So stay tuned. This is going to be a very good video, guaranteed. Don't go anywhere. All right, time to overdose this thing's this fuel system here on some cleaner. So first one is upper cylinder lubricant. Let's dump this one in. Stick that in there for now. And then next one, that's going to be our performance improver cleaner additive. By the way, this is not an Amsoil sales pitch. This is real life product that I actually use, that I actually sell, that companies actually produce, that they actually sell. And it's not snake oil. That's like saying, oh, Windex is a chemical and that's snake oil because water's just as good. Well, I mean, sure. But, you know, it's not like the chemical engineers, you know, just faked their results and then created all this stuff and then created like $1 billion market share for everyone to participate in. It's not like that's what happened. Yeah. So here, let's go ahead and get a piece of cardboard or something for a spacer. Yeah, right there. That's resourcefulness. Oh look, yeah, we're back to that again. Okay. So what I shall do, put you right in there like that. Hold it one more time. We're gonna go high idle with this. We want heat and temp. And time. Heat and time. There we go. All right. Let's leave her alone for a while, see what happens. Go check the tailpipe real quick. That's done. By the way, shameless moment of self-promotion. If you're interested in any Amsoil products, including the performance improver or other fuel system treatments, just visit the link down inside of this video's description below, and it will take you to amsoil.com where you may purchase said products. And if you were to enlist as a preferred customer, which is similar to like a Sam's Club or a Costco membership, you will receive said product and additional promotions at a discounted price point, which is good for you. And again, if you use my link, I get a commission that's also good for me. And that will end my moment of shameless self-promotion. Rev this thing to the moon. Go, baby, go. Get in there. Yeah, that exhaust leak down there, that's the donut gasket at the cat converter collector. how's our temperature reading? Gauge is broken, doesn't read anything. Okay. All right, I'll be back about 15 minutes of this and then we'll take a look and see what we're working with here. Okie dokes. We've been doing this for about 15 minutes. The exhaust sounded better. The fans come on. Let's check the temperature real quick, make sure we're not overheated. Yeah, we're looking good there. I don't know if that gauge is moving or not, but that feels okay. It's not too hot. How we doing? Okay, so normally I'd want to drive this, but we also noticed one other thing when we brought this in, and that's the reason I'm not going to drive it, is the rear wheels were locking up when braking. I'll tell you what, I've got to move this forward to get on the rack a little bit. Let me move it back and forth real quick and I'll show you those wheels locking up. Okay, let's get this thing moved forward. It's actually been running for, I don't know, about a half hour now, I think. A little longer than I said, because I was dealing with something else unrelated to the vehicle. But watch this. We're gonna have a brake lockup event here in a second. Here we go, moving forward. See that? Try it one more time. Get some speed into it. Backing up. All right, normal driving forward, forward, forward. See that? The rear brakes are locking up as soon as we touch the pedal, which is no bueno. So let's go ahead and shut this thing down, get it racked up. I'm gonna drain the oil out of it, see how nasty it is. And you know what I think, just for the sake of this video, and since this filter is like forever old, we're gonna cut it open and see inside of it as well. So we had the cleaner in there for an excessive amount of time. We ran the daylights out of it. Let's drain the oil, see how much nasty comes out, and go from there. Okie dokes, the rack is set. Let's raise her up, kinda. Drain that oil out of this thing.
I can't wait to see it.
It's nasty.
It's gonna be pretty bad, I'm sure.
Guys, this is Nicky. That's the BG guy.
How y'all doing?
He's the one that sells me the lizard lotion in a can that you say doesn't work. Well, we're about to see some nasty come out of this drain pan.
That's right.
All right, top of the rack here. Let's get it on the locks real quick, like for safety, because I don't want to trust my life to these cheapo Chinesium lifts. And yeah, I'm gonna get new ones later, but they're expensive, so give me a break. Anyway, let's get this drain plug pulled out. I see some red down here. I wonder if that's transmission fluid. Maybe, maybe not. Fuel filter, need to change that later. We're gonna cut that open too. We'll go ahead and order one of those. There's our filter there. Yeah, we're cutting that open for sure. So we need a 15 mil drain plug and a set of filter pliers. All right, let's wheel this business down under here. There's our plug. Let me get some illuminators fired up. 15 millimeters of ratcheting wrench. Cracker loose.
So you ran an EPR for about 30 minutes?
Yeah, 30, 45 minutes, I think.
Okay.
I know that's a little longer than I'm supposed to, but...
Well, it's a special
special occasion, case, so. Yeah. I figured it's kind of already blown up and just trying to save it. Can't blow it up anymore.
Tell me again, how long has the oil been in there?
I don't know exactly, but it's got to be at least a couple years.
Wow.
There's no tag on this, and it's been parked for a while.
All right, here we go.
And the fuel smells horrendous.
Ooh, Nelly.
Nasty. The stink.
Oh, you can't even see it. Can't even see through it.
Hang on, let me get a cup. I want to get a sample of that.
Go.
I need to get a coffee cup. Run! Run!
Hurry!
I'm still running.
Hey, get to the chopper!
Get to the chopper now!
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you smell that? It smells like turpentine.
It is. You could smell it like crazy. He's getting...
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Oh, yeah.
I want to cut... Look how thin it is.
That's like Texas tea right there, man.
Yummy!
Woo. Smell it.
All right, let's get the filter off, and then I'm gonna cut that filter open while we're here.
Okay, cool.
That's just to see. I want to know. I must know. There's some pliers. Yeah, we're gonna let this drain for a while just to get as much of that old crusty nasty out of there as possible. Let's get this guy up here. Napa Gold filter.
Hopefully the filter has a date on it.
Well,
Maybe a made date.
They didn't write one on there. It's a black filter. So even if they did, oh man, it stinks so bad. Even if they did write it, the Sharpie's gone by now. Guaranteed. That's hot too. Woo, too hot. I need a towel for some insulation. Heat insulation. Yeah, so what we'll do, we're gonna cut this open while that continues to drizzle out of there.
Oh,
yeah.
at least it's a good filter. Napa Gold.
Napa knows now. All right, let's cut her open.
All right.
Yeah, see, this is for science right here. We're doing this for science.
Sweet.
It's a big deal.
And I happen to like science, so let's see what you got.
Ooh, hot.
Yeah.
I have thermal transfer into my flange. That's what I've got. Okay, so I got a little filter cutter open tool. It's a couple little ball bearings on it on a plate with a can opener blade on the end of it, which is threaded against this block for size adjustment. Put this thing on here, tighten it down some, turn it, just like can opener.
Bam.
You
How cool.
spin me round, round, filter round, round. Hear it crackle. A little more, a little more.
Oh, there she is.
It's a little drain back valve. Stinks.
Yeah, it doesn't look too bad.
No, oh, it's hot too. Yeah, no metal in here. That's good. So nothing standing out to me. A little bit of sludge build up in the bottom. Let's dump this out and look inside of the can for any other forms of debris. Might be some big old chunks of something in there. Let's give it a dump. Yeah, you guys see that in there? Let's get some light on it.
I got a flashlight.
You got a flashlight?
I do. Well, my phone
Use
light.
the BG sponsored cell phone light.
Yes. Brought to you in part by
Not sponsored
BG
video.
EPR.
You're showing that in there.
Yes, absolutely.
This is brought to you by BG EPR because that's what I used. Yeah, there's just some normal kind of chunks of stuff in there.
Yeah, it did what it should have done.
Yep, nothing extraordinary, which is good. Okay, so while we're here, down here, I don't want to lift it up more than once. What we're going to do is swap out this fuel filter real quick, like. Let's get these clips out of here. I don't want to break it. Okay, now the other side, we need to use a fuel line disconnect tool. So what we'll do, put you over here where you can see. It's a similar connector to that one right there, except it's got little metal fingers inside of it that clip around that flange business. We need to release it. This little guy, slide that. Oh, it's not going in. The tool's too big for the hole. Get down there. Hey, let me try a shorter one. Right back. Perhaps a shorter cut tool will fit. Let's find out today. You know, I used this in a video yesterday and I said I may never have to use that particular disconnect tool again because I had cut it down to fit something and I mentioned I forgot what it was. This is what it was. Ew, we're flowing now. Look at that. It's nasty looking fuel. Anyway, so now we pull this guy out from the bracket. Come here. There we go. Oh, that stinks so bad. Look at that. Made in China.
China, 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 China!
I'm sorry, you guys. I had to do it. It was hilarious in my head, so here you go.
This is as far as you go, China.
Let's cut this open, too. Anyway, I've got a new filter over here on the box. It's a Wix unit. I like Wix stuff. All right, there's our new one. Wix part number, looking like a 33296. There's gonna be an arrow on there. This one points that way, so that's the flow direction. There's one of our plastic dealios. Another one. Pull that guy off and snap it on. There's that. Cap off. Plug this guy back in. And then we fit the clip. However the clip fits. Get in there. There we go, got it. Okay, let's let this truck down now. Got the drain plug in, oil filter's on, oil's been draining, fuel filter's been changed. Let's get some new oil back in it. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Dave and Justin are gonna work on that some. We're gonna pull the rear wheels off of the Ranger. We're gonna pull the rear wheels off, check the brakes. Justin's gonna throw in some oil in there, and we are gonna come over here and cut open this filter real quick. And then once the filter is inspected, we'll go back to working on the truck. Now, normally I wouldn't want to have like 3 guys working on an oil change. Oh, look at how bad that is. It's like yellow, nasty turpentine looking. Yeah, normally I wouldn't have a bunch of dudes working on just like one little service thing, brake check and oil change, but it's close to the end of the day and we don't have anything else to do. That's not gonna work, see that? We gotta cut it. We're gonna use the big cutters. Chop that guy off. So we screw in the can opener, makes contact, and then spin it round and round. Let's see what's inside. This is a thick one. It's definitely not an oil filter. Can't get through it. Come on. Yeah, that's a seriously thick filter housing. A little tighter. Is it cutting or what? You bottom out on something? Like it's almost through. Almost. Yeah, there we go. That's horrible. And looky here. I found rust. We have rust. Yeah, look at all that in there. There's rust patina on the pleats and actual rust inside of the filter interior. And a chunk of metal. It's a big old chunk of metal in there too. See that? Bottom left, about the 7 o'clock position. Okay. So yep, new fuel filter. Good idea. Okay, so we have oil in this thing, mostly, almost, a little bit more to go. Let's, we're gonna top this off. We're gonna fire it back up, see how she runs. Okay, well, Dave's got one of these brake drums off the other side over here, so let's see what's going on. We have a lockup issue with these rears. I'm gonna pull back this dust boot, and if we look in there, we can see, oh, you can't really see much. There is a slight bit of moisture I'm seeing. It's pretty crusty, nasty too. You guys see that? Right there by my thumb. So that's a leaking cylinder. Shoe thickness is okay. But the drums, they've got a pretty serious lip worn into them. Right here. More light. Yeah, there's a nasty lip worn into these drums. Okay, Justin's ready to fire this thing up. Dave, can we start this? You're in a good, are you safe? It's in park, right? Sure. Yep, go ahead and fire it up. That's been sitting after we did the shutdown, probably for about an hour. So it's cooled off a little bit. Key it on again, the fuel filter's empty. Well, would you look at that? Let's see if it still has that stumble. A little bit. I think it's doing just fine. All right, go ahead and shut her down. It's running way more better. Much, you know what? I screwed up. We should not have put the fuel filter in before doing a restart, because now folks will say that it's only running better because I put a fuel filter in it. And I'm gonna go ahead and take that apart right now. See, you don't get a one-cylinder misfire off a bad fuel filter. And even though this is nasty and disgusting inside, it still would have flowed some fuel through it. Like, it would not have been a stopped filter by any means. It's probably damaged inside enough where it flowed anyway. So no, you don't get to claim that changing the fuel filter made it run better. That's not how that works, really. Yeah, and besides, we saw it running smooth even before the filter, so you don't get to re-out on the fuel filter change. Yeah, she starts and runs. It's doing well. I've got to say, this is about a 10,000% improvement from when we first got the truck. So it runs, it lives. We've got a bunch of nasty inside of in the fuel tank, in the fuel system. We probably could stand to put those fuel injectors in this, but I'm going to want to drive it some and get some miles on there. And we won't be able to do that until I can make the thing break. So what we're going to have to do back here, since we did have lockup, at the very minimum, we need to put some cylinders on there. That fluid's been leaking out. It's probably soaked into the pad material. I want to lose the drums because of the lip. I want to put hardware in there because of the rust. That's the springs and all that good stuff. And I want to put cylinders in it. You scared me, Dave. I want to put cylinders in it because of the leak right there. Just got the drum off that side. Let's go look. And we'll probably put new shoes on it. So the rears are going to get a rebuild, so to speak, I think. Yeah, I see fluid right here. Yeah, look at that. Oh yeah, there's brake fluid everywhere in there. Okay, yeah, needs cylinders. That's a piece of shoe. Cylinders, shoes, drums, hardware. We're gonna rebuild that later. I'm gonna have to save that for another video. That's gonna take a few hours. So guys, at this point, we have a huge improvement on the drivability of this particular Mazda. That being said, I have nothing more to offer you on this particular video at this particular time, other than I thank you for watching this video. Let me, if you would, know what you think about this vehicle in the comment section down below. Do not forget to engage that like and subscribe button right down there. And most importantly, have yourselves a great day. See you guys later in a Mazda, end of will it run refresh, in a tune-up-ish, in a transmission. See you guys later.